My name is Centopani. I'm a professional bodybuilder. That means I eat a lot. Luckily, I love to cook as much as I love to eat. For me, it's essential to not only eat in a way that supports my goals, but is as enjoyable and as healthy as possible. Follow along. We'll cook, we'll eat, and who knows what else. This is Evan's World. Done. What's going on, guys? As part of our off-season series, I'm coming to you today with one of my favorite off-season breakfasts. Now, it is especially high in calories. The whole breakfast has around 1,400 calories in total. It's pretty hefty on the carbs. It's hefty on everything, really. But it's loaded with a lot of good fats, some tasty carbs, and definitely some quality proteins. What we've got are whole eggs. We're gonna do some bagels with mashed up avocado and then topped with some smoked salmon and a side of kale. I know we were doing good until we got to the kale, right? But the kale is definitely a good thing to have in the meal. Kind of balances everything out. This meal is super, super delicious. It's quick, it's easy, and I'm gonna show you that right now. I've got a pan that's been warming up under medium heat, and the way I like to do my eggs is rather than just formally scramble them in a bowl, I like to just toss them in the pan whole, let them cook for a little bit, give them a loose toss, and well, I can better show you than I can tell you, right? Now, I know you guys are probably thinking, geez, that's a lot of whole eggs. How come you don't eat the whites or, take some of those yolks out? There's a couple of reasons. First of all, because I'm a fucking man. No. First of all, because the yolk has a lot of good fats in it. And I want to take advantage of those fats. I think fats are anabolic. When I eat plenty of fat, my muscles are full. I'm good and strong, my skin is nice, and I just feel better all around. I think a lot of bodybuilders definitely shy away from fat, and everything is always protein, carbs, and I think they're missing out. So I mean, this breakfast, as you can see, has got quite a bit of fat, and I like that. We're gonna use half an avocado. Show you guys a trick. The avocado, you don't have to scoop it out. You can kind of just put it in the bowl, pinch the skin, and just squeeze it right out. Fast. Only gonna use half. I'm just gonna take a fork, mash it up. I guess the traditional way to have bagels and salmon would be to have cream cheese, but I'm not big on dairy and avocados. I think it's better fat anyways, so I'd rather top the bagel with some avocado and put the salmon on it. Speaking of the bagels, I'm just gonna toss these in the toaster. Smoked salmon, you guys might be thinking to yourselves, that's something you don't see too often. It's delicious, number one. Two, it's good fats from the salmon, some extra protein. The only question is, what about the smoking process? Is that bad for you? Because sometimes they say, well, smoke creates carcinogens, you shouldn't be ingesting it, it's not good for you. First of all, this stuff has no added nitrates or anything like that. The only ingredients in here are Atlantic salmon, salt, and cold smoke. So there's no nitrates added to it. Even in cases of nitrates being added to something, from what I understand, the only time you really have to worry is, like, take bacon, for example, right? Whether you buy cured or uncured bacon, even the stuff that calls itself uncured, you'll usually see ingredients like celery powder, sugar. Now, that's for a reason. When you combine those ingredients, it forms natural nitrates, or they contain nitrates, whatever the case may be. But either way, by the time you get the product, there's plenty of nitrates in it. Nitrates, not necessarily a bad thing. From what I understand, nitrates become an issue when you have something like bacon. and you fry it and you're heating it to extremely high temperatures, it begins to form what are called nitrosamines, which are bad for your stomach and bad for your bowels, etc., and are carcinogenic. But nitrates themselves, I mean, beets contain lots of nitrates. A lot of vegetables are very high in nitrates, and nitrates are actually good for you. They dilate your blood vessels, help to form nitric oxide. So nothing really wrong with nitrates. And as it pertains to smoked foods, because this stuff is pretty basic, there's not much in it besides the fish, some salt, and some smoke, I'm not concerned with it. You know, it's not like I'm eating pounds of it a day, so it's just like, you know, a little bit added on there as a treat once in a while. So enjoy. I like to try to keep the yolks whole till I get close to the end, and then pop them so that when I eat them, the yolks are still kind of liquidy. I eat a lot of greens, you know, on a regular basis, and I cook a lot of it at once. So kale is one that I consume often, so I just keep a large container of it in the fridge so that I can add it in with meals anytime I want. Some of you might be saying, oh my God, Evan, why are you eating bagels? That's bread. Bread is bad for you. You should be eating oatmeal. I don't eat a ton of bread. If I have a gluten containing carbohydrate, then maybe it's, you know, once a day at best. So in comparison to my total carbohydrate intake, stuff containing gluten is it's not a whole lot of it. Why talk about gluten? Even if you are not, you know, intolerant to it or have celiacs. Gluten containing carbohydrates, in my opinion, probably aren't as optimal when it comes to digestion as the gluten-free stuff like rice, oats, potatoes. But you know, it's the off season, and if I want a fucking bagel or 2 bagels, I'm gonna eat them. This bagel's hot. Just kind of spread it on there. I'm telling you, this is really, really good. Nice piece of smoked salmon. A little bit of dill on the top. A, it smells great in here. B, this is gonna taste so good. And this is like a calorie macronutrient powerhouse. Like I said, we're hitting about 1,400 calories. This comes in around 140 grams of carbs. What do I got here? 80 grams of protein and 60 grams of fat. Now, some people say, well, geez, you're actually getting more calories from fat in this meal than you are from protein, which is true, but keep in mind the rest of my day, I'm gonna pretty much be nailing, you know, chicken, rice, salad, some vegetables, and I may add some olive oil or whatever, but each of my other meals throughout the day, gonna be pretty protein heavy. They will contain some fat, but not a ratio like this meal. And even people who have a hard time tolerating, you know, like, say for example, you say, well, I don't do great with a lot of high fat foods, you know, for digestion purposes. Because these fats are so good in this meal, you're never gonna feel like heavy after this or anything like that. Like, you are gonna feel good after this meal. And this meal is packed with good stuff. So I urge you to give it a shot. That's it. I'm gonna go eat. Before I forget, subscribe to my YouTube channel. You'll be glad you did. Now beat it so I can go eat it.